Good afternoon. The live stream will just be an audio of the Folk of the Road of the Wyoming County Bicentennial Singer Players. We're broadcasting it from the East Room, and we'll just have the audio and not the video. But you still can listen and enjoy their music. Thank you, and have a good day.
Can't tell.
No, you can't. I'll just buy you. I know, usually I have no problem. It's like, really?
You know that one where they...
We're ready, we're gonna start.
Oh yeah, it's stuck in
put your cats into it.
Come on in, Pat.
It's not bad.
Are we on? We're on. Okay.
There's Pat. Oh, Lordy.
Lordy.
What's rolling at you? You just flipped.
It's blowing me. It's blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I got a paper clip ready just in case. Little one, but it's there. Did you put the meat in the refrigerator? Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Like 2 hours.
Thank you. I forgot. After Chester?
After Chester.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, we're Folk of the Road, part of Wyoming County Bicentennial Singers. That group formed during the bicentennial 50 years ago, and this group formed in 2021, 25 years ago. So it's been a long time together. Join us in America the Beautiful. I did a little bit of tweaking on the second and third verse, but the first one everybody knows. Sing along. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, oh, Thank you. That was written in 1893 by Catherine Lee Bates after she took a trip up Pikes Peak in Colorado. We have a number of historical songs for the first part of the program. You all know Yankee Doodle, and that was written by the British to make fun of the colonists, colonial soldiers, because they were such a ragtag group. Around 1755 for the French and Indian War. And then it became famous and well used by all sides to make fun of everybody. Yankee Doodle went to town, riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. Father and I went down to camp along with Captain Goody. There we saw the men and boys as thick as hasty pudding. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. There was Captain Washington upon a slapping stallion, giving orders to his men like Lester was a million. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. And there we saw 1,000 men as rich as Squire David. What they wasted every day, I wish it could be saved. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. And there we saw a swamping gun, as big as a block of maple, on a deuce a little cart along the father's cattle. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. And there I saw a pumpkin shell as big as Mother's basin. Every time they touched it off, they scampered like no nation. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. Thank you. The next song is called Revolutionary Tea, and you all know about the Boston Tea Party in 1773, the precursor of the American Revolution. It was a protest against taxes on tea, where Americans, colonists disguised as Native Americans, dumped a shipload of tea into Boston Harbor. It took nearly 3 hours and more than 100 colonists to empty the tea into the harbor, and the chests held more than 90,000 pounds of tea, equivalent to 45 tons, which would cost today nearly $1 million. The song is an allegory of Mother England and the daughter, the colonist. Oh, I don't need that. There was an old lady lived over the sea, and she was an island queen. Her daughter lived off in a far country with an ocean of water between. The old lady's pockets were yellow with gold, but never content was she. So she called on her daughter to pay her a tax of 3 pence a pound on her tea. 3 pence a pound, 3 pence a pound, 3 pence a pound, said she.
So she called on her daughter to pay her a tax of 3 pence a pound on her tea.
Now, mother, near mother, the daughter replied, I shan't do the thing that you ask. I'm willing to pay a fair price for the tea, but never a 3-penny tax. You shall, said the mother, and reddened with rage, for you're my own daughter, you see. And sure 'tis quite proper a daughter to pay her mother a tax on her tea. Tax on her tea, tax on her tea, tax on her tea, says she.
And sure 'tis quite proper a daughter to
Pay her mother a tax on her tea. And so the old lady, her servant, called up and packed off a budget of tea. And eager for 3 pence a pound, she put in enough for a large family. Then she said, bully boys, will you bring home the tax? Will you bring home the tax today? Or as mothers will do, I will snatch up a shoe and whip half her young life away. Snatch up a shoe, snatch up a shoe, snatch up a shoe, said she. Or as mothers will do, I will snatch up a shoe and whip half her young life away. So the tea was conveyed to the daughter's own door, all down by the ocean side. The brazen young girl poured out every pound in the dark and the boiling tide. Then she called off to the island queen, oh mother, said she. I'll give you your tea when it's ready to drink, but never a tea tax for me. Never a tax, no, never a tax, never a tax, said she. I'll give you your tea when it's ready to drink, but never a tea tax for me. There. Now we'll sing about Free America, written by Dr. Joseph Warren, a patriot, who announced, these British fellows say we won't fight. By heavens, I hope I shall die up to my knees in blood. And he was killed in the Battle of Breed's Hill in June of 1775. This became a very popular song in the colonies, and as it's a march, you'll probably recognize the tune. Let's see. Torn from a world of tyrants beneath the western sky, we formed a new dominion, a land of liberty. The world shall know we're masters here and hasten on the day. Huzzah, 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 huzzah for free America. Lift up your hands, ye heroes, and swear with proud disdain. The wretch that would ensnare you shall lay his snares in vain. Should Europe empty all her force, we'll meet her in array. And fight and shout, huzzah, huzzah for free America. God bless this maiden country and through its vast domain may host some heroes cluster who scorn to wear a chain. Then guard your rights on their advance, nor stoop to lawless sway. Oppose, 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 oppose for free America. Huzzah, 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 huzzah for free America. Huzzah! This next song is a duet between Martha Washington and a soldier. She's looking for him, and he says, well, I didn't see him. It's called Lady Washington, or Saw You, My Hero, and it has connections here in Wyoming County because it was found in a manuscript found in an attic in North Java by Harry Douglas, our first county historian. And it was published in a very scholarly volume called A Pioneer Songster. And I think you might be able to find these if you really look. But I use it as a source for a lot of historical songs. Let's see, the songs were written down by pioneers from the 1840s and 50s in Stevens Douglas family. They came from Connecticut and settled in North Java. Okay. Saw you, my hero, saw you, my hero, saw you, my hero, George. I have traveled o'er the plain and inquired of every swain, but no tidings could I get of my George. I saw not your hero, I saw not your hero, George. My toys at the band, the battles just began, but I haste to take care of my men. Over hills and over dales, over mountains and the plains, where the drums they sound alarms. Oh, ye gods, I give you charge to protect my hero George, and to bring him safe home to my arms. Lady Washington. Now, the British used muskets for their weapons, but they weren't very accurate. But in Pennsylvania and other places, they invented the rifle. And so the colonists started using the rifle, especially in Bennington, Vermont, and the Green Mountain Boys, whose leader was Johnny Stark. And this is a song about the Bennington Rifles. Why come ye hither, rebels? Your mind would madness fills. Your valley where there's danger, and there's danger in our hills. Oh, hear ye not the singing of the bugle proud and free. Oh, soon you'll hear the ringing of the rifle from the tree. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Ride a goodly steed, you may know another master. Hither come with speed, but you'll learn to back much faster when you meet our mountain boys and their leader Johnny Stark. They had to make a little noise and always hit the mark. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Have ye no graves at home across the briny water? That hither you must go on like bullocks to the slaughter. If we know what must do, why the sooner 'tis begun. If flint and trigger hold up true, the quicker will be done. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Oh, the rifle. Oh, the rifle. In our hands will prove no trifle. Thank you. Thanks for clapping along. I didn't give you warning for that. The next song is Chester, which was written as a hymn by William Billings, who was one of the earliest composers of American hymns. And it became a battle cry and a marching song and whatever, but we're going to sing it kind of restrained like they do in sacred harp singing. And this is the way it was led in the, what do you call it? The square, where they sing, it's a square. Okay, nope. Let tyrants shake their iron rods, and slavery clank her galling chains. We fear them not, we trust in God. New England's God forever reigns. When God inspired us for the fight, their ranks were broke, their lines were forced, their ships were shattered in our sight, or swiftly driven from our coast. The foe comes on with haughty stride, our troops advance with martial noise. Their veterans flee before our youth, and generals yield to beardless boys. What grateful offering shall we bring? What shall we render to the Lord? Loud hallelujahs let us sing, and praise his name on every chord. Thank you. Another song that was written right around the same time is Amazing Grace. And the composer, whose name escapes me, somebody else will know it, he was a slaver. He owned slave ships. And one day in a terrible storm, he prayed to God to spare his life. And if he did, if God spared his life, he would dedicate the rest of his life to ending slavery.
This was written by a John Newton.
John Newton, that's right there, John Newton.
Yep.
This weather has rinsed and wrung my brain completely out.
Invite everybody to sing along soon.
Yes, please. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, for singing. Thank you, thank you. Now, in kind of like chronological order, we will sing a praise song, excuse me, that's not appropriate, a song in praise of a mule. The Erie Canal, which the song was not actually used on the canal, it was composed as the canal was being phased out. But everybody knows this because it appeared in numerous...
Last year was their 200th
Usable.
anniversary of the canal.
Right-o.
Yep. You can still take boat rides on it.
How many
too.
of you learned this in elementary school?
16 miles.
Yeah. Except we sing years. It goes both ways. But the original sheet music said 15 years on the
Actually, I'm gonna switch.
They used to have the copy of the sheet music in one of those rest stops along the thruway, but that's all been, creamed. Ridiculous rest stops. Anyway, sing it if you want.
I got a mule and her name is Sal. 15 years on the Erie Canal. She's a good old worker and a good old pal. 15 years on the Erie Canal. We hauled some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal and hay, and we took every inch of the way from Albany to Buffalo. Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, 'cause we're going through town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal, if you never navigated on the Erie Canal. We better look around for a jolly old gal. 15 years on the Erie Canal. 'Cause you bet your life I never part with Sal. 15 years on the Erie Canal. Get up there, mule, here comes the lot. We'll make Rome about 6 o'clock. One more trip and back we'll go. Right back home to Buffalo.
Home, home.
Low Bridge, everybody down. Low Bridge, 'cause we're going through a town. And you'll always know your neighbor, you'll always know your pal, if you never navigated on the Erie Canal. Oh, where would I be if I lost my pal? 15 years on the Erie Canal. Oh, I'd like to see
Erie Canal. Got to do a mop-up here.
They don't make them like they used to.
That thing Marianne is dinging over there, can you talk about that?
Well, there's nothing to say. It's self-explanatory.
What's the explanatory?
You should come out and show them. You're hidden. It's good.
It's called a,
Stoopfiddle.
why?
There's only one Stoopfiddle factory in the world, and that's in Wisconsin. And it's right there. And it's very distinctive.
Absolutely. It has a lot of personality.
Yes.
Like her.
Stumpf.
A Stoopfiddle.
You better spell it for me.
And I'm the Stoop what plays it. S-T-U-M-P-F. Thank you. Stoop. Had that on the crossword. Yeah.
Let me get a little swig here.
It's kind of like Sal, it's one of a kind.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Hydrate.
I'm about hydrating right off my forehead here. All right. Our next historical moment is the Silver Lake sea serpent. My husband and I and kids moved to Perry in 1973, and shortly after that I went downtown to visit Clark Rice at his studio, and he told me this story about the sea serpent because I was new to town. And I said, wow, that makes a great song. Anybody ever write one? He said, no. Of course, So I took care of that. This is the true and unembellished tale of the great serpent of Silver Lake.
Unembellished, yeah, okay.
Well, you don't embellish a tale like this.
Totally factual.
Totally. It came straight from a history book by Arch Merrill.
Straight from the serpent's mouth.
That's right. In 1855, July the 13th night, a small fishing boat with 4 men and 2 sons on Silver Lake set out.
Brave boys on Silver Lake set out.
Now this was written to an old whaling song tune, and it had that brave boys refrain. So join in that, and you sing the line before that. They'd not been long when Joe McKnight said, boys, there's a giant log near shore. But the log began to move, heading straight toward the boat. Each man bore down on an oar.
Brave boys,
Each man bore down on an oar. As the thing neared their vessel, they could see it plain. A reptile about 80 feet all told. It's a serpent, it's a monster, it's the devil, they all cried. With eyes as red as coals.
brave boys,
With eyes as red as coals. The serpent lashed its tail and shot water from its mouth, 4 feet into the sky. Let's row, boys, row, let's get out of here, they cried, before we all capsize.
brave boys, before we all capsize.
Their story spread like wildfire around the countryside. More people saw that serpent every night. It's a demon from the deep, an old Indian warned. My fathers knew and would not fish that sight.
Brave boys,
My fathers knew and would not fish that sight. Their story spread like wildfire all around the world. Tourists packed hotels and people's homes. From a watchtower they spied, and to shoot the beast they tried. But it always escaped into the foam.
brave boys,
It always escaped into the foam. A whaling party couldn't capture the beast, nor could an iron hook and line. Then as quickly as it came, the monster disappeared. Never more on Silver Lake was seen.
brave boys,
Never more on Silver Lake was seen. But 2 years later at the Walker House Hotel, a fire raged inside. Then when the firemen reached the attic, they had quite a surprise. There lay that canvas serpent's hide.
brave boys,
There lay that canvas serpent's hide. The truth was then revealed by Mr. Walker himself. He'd built the monster serpent with his friends to pick up the business at the Walker House Hotel. And it's been a darn good story ever since.
Brave boys,
It's been a darn good story ever since. Thank you. Now, right here in Warsaw, the Liberty Party was started in 1840, and they had candidates and all that, and an election, but that candidate lost. Who was this? James Birney, was that his name?
Right here in this church, is
Right here in this.
yeah, right in this church. Well, not this particular church, but the church was here at that time.
And that was an abolition party. And that they made up, well, the Hutchinson family, which was a touring musical group, they made up this song, Liberty Ball, to an old Irish tune. And then later on, when Lincoln ran for president, it was changed to Lincoln and Liberty. So we'll sing a little bit of each. Come all ye true friends of the nation, attend to humanity's call. Aid in the slave's liberation, and roll on the Liberty Ball. And roll on the Liberty Ball. And roll on the Liberty Ball. Aid in the slave's liberation, and roll on the Liberty Ball. We're foes to wrong and oppression, no matter which side of the sea, and never intend to oppose them till all of God's image are free. Till all of God's image are free. Till all of God's image are free. And never intend to oppose them till all of God's image are free. We're off for the choice of the nation, our chieftain so brave and so true. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. For Lincoln and liberty too. For Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. And up with the banner so glorious, the star-spangled red, white, and blue. We'll fight till our banner's victorious, for Lincoln and liberty too. For Lincoln and liberty too. For Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. Now we come to the Civil War era. There's loads and loads of songs for the Civil War era. We'll just sing a couple. The Battle Cry of Freedom. Got that? Yep. That was composed by George F. Root, who was one of the foremost composers in that day, and he was a partner in Root and Cady Publishers in Chicago. And it has local connections because his granddaughter married the son of Lydia Avery Coonley Ward, whose family owned the hillside in Wyoming, New York, for generations. You know about Lydia. She was a big thing there in Wyoming. But we're now in the Civil War era. Rally around the flag. Let's see. E, right? Yep. Find it.
Come, Bernie, come. Got it? There. There's your note. Okay.
you again.
Can you see that?
Now, another song from the Civil War era, which has become a national song, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, written by Julia Ward Howe. She heard marching soldiers singing about John Brown, his body lies a moldering in the grave, and so on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. So she took that melody, which all good composers do, they borrow, and she put these words to it. It's mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wealth have stored. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his arrows restored. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling cast. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and dance. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea. With a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he tried to make them holy, birds live to make them free. While God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. His truth is marching on. Thank you. Thanks for singing.
Can I put in a plug for a local author? His name is Robert Yott, Y-O-T-T. You can Google him. He wrote some very insightful historical books, one of which is about the aftermath of the Civil War and what went on, the chicanery and the double dealing, and there were some local ties to that too. But his name is Robert Yott. He wrote one about Vietnam, about some of our local boys who we lost there. And right now he's working on a history of Johnsonburg.
Really?
Yeah, it's got to be 3 pages or so.
So he came to you as a source?
Actually, no, he's been interviewing older folks around town.
Not you.
I don't qualify it. But Johnsonburg was actually quite a village. There was a sawmill, there was a furniture factory, there were, a store, a couple of churches, a little tavern. It was quite a little settlement until, things move on. But it should be very interesting. He's very careful about his research and very factual. Yott, Y-O-T-T, Robert. His parents were Civil War reenactors, and their graves in the local cemetery are just worth seeing, with horses and cannons, and they're in their Civil War uniforms. They're gorgeous. Whoever did the artwork on those tombstones, it's a work of art, it really is.
Where are they? The tombstones?
In Johnsonburg. The cemetery goes back to 1812. on Center Line Road, just west of 98. There's a marker, a blue and gold Johnsonburg Cemetery marker, and their graves are words specific. They're white works of art.
Another historical thing in this area was the railroads, and there were trains going in and out all over the place, everywhere. Then they were all taken out, but this is a little history I wrote of the Arcade in Attica. The original song was way too long, so I shortened it up to 3 verses, so anybody could sing it. You might recognize the tune from the Wabash Cannonball. In the county of Wyoming, in the lovely New York State, there's a little tiny railroad that's made our county great. The Arcade in Attica is really mighty fine. A muffin and a jogging on the Arcade Attica line. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the chop, as she flies along the woodland and the beaver meadow mud. Hear the mighty rush of the engine and the lonesome whistle fly. She's a handsome old steam engine on the Arcade Attica line. Through many toils and troubles since 1881, through progress and adversity, this little train has run. The local people saved it from great financial plight. They raised the money and bought it, and really ran it right. Oh, listen to the jingle and the rumble and the chug, as she flies along the woodland and the beaver meadow mud. There's a mighty rush of the engine and the lonesome whistle fly. She's a handsome old steam engine on the Arcade Attica line. There were always many riders till everyone bought a car. And in the 50s service, the passengers was no more. But then folks started missing that old steam engine pride. So in 62 we brought back the train that we could ride. Oh, listen to the jingle and the rumble and the chug, as she flies along the woodland and the beaver meadow mud. Hear the mighty rush of the engine and the lonesome whistle fly. She's a handsome old steam engine on the Arcade Attica line. She's a handsome old steam engine on the Arcade Attica line. Let's do the Yankee Doodle and then Deep Hills of Wyoming. Okay. Yankee Doodle and Hills of Wyoming. George M. Cohan wrote a lot of popular songs. One of them, 2 of them, we're going to do now. They're very popular around this time of year. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. He was born on the 4th of July. Got your consent. Got it. Close enough. The weather's not good for the instruments either.
No, it always goes.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. A real wide nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. A Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Now we'll close out with another song I wrote. This to commemorate the sesquicentennial of Wyoming County in they started in 1881. The song was 1980. No? Figure that one out. I can't think. Sesquicentennial is 150 years. Right. And the song was written in 1981. Sticky. Okay. It's modeled after another folk song about Scotland, written by Matt McGinn.
When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the Genesee flow, a sweeter place I never did know, the rolling hills of Wyoming. In 1841,
That's it.
that's when Wyoming County begun. It's grown and prospered under the sun, on the green hills of Wyoming. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the creek flow, a sweeter place I never did know, the rolling hills of Wyoming. With sawmills, railroads, maple and corn, pioneers worked from dawn's early morn, a blessing when a new life was born, on the green hills of Wyoming. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the Tonawanda flow, a sweeter place I never did know, the rolling hills of Wyoming. The people here are friendly and good, working hard to raise family and food. They've always done the best that they could, on the green hills of Wyoming. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear Silver Lake flow, a sweeter place I never did know, the rolling hills of Wyoming, the rolling hills of Wyoming.
Thank you very much for having us here. And despite the heat, we had a good time. I don't know about you. Yeah, the humidity. It ain't the heat, it's the humidity. That's what they say.
Better tomorrow.
Thank you, thank you. Happy trails.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Well,
else that I work in there.
Paul, don't hand me that book, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I gotta go grocery shop. I know, that's air conditioning.
What's the matter? Oh, yeah? Take your stuff out.
Stop drumstick. I just put the drumstick inside. This is Sue's. Sit there.
It was raining out there earlier. It was raining outside. Oh, yeah.
Okay, was this bright side?